Közben Európa...
Mr. Orban, we want our money back. And to all of us, we have to stop this deal. No more EU funds for Hungary. Let's take his veto away.
Brussels was supposed to celebrate unity. Instead, the room turned silent the moment Viktor Orban raised his hand. EU leaders had spent the whole night negotiating, rewriting clauses, deleting paragraphs, anything to avoid a fight. But Orban didn't blink. Hungary will not approve 50 billion euros for Ukraine, he said, voice calm, eyes locked on the officials staring back at him. The rest of the table froze. Ursula von der Leyen leaned forward, trying to keep her tone diplomatic, but frustration cracked through. We cannot allow a single country to paralyze Europe, she warned. Emmanuel Macron slammed his folder shut, whispering to Scholz that Europe was being held hostage by one man. Orban didn't react. He enjoyed the silence. For months he had complained that Brussels was punishing Hungary with frozen funds, accusing them of undermining democracy. Now he had the leverage, and he used it ruthlessly. You want 50 billion euros for Ukraine, he said, but you refuse to release Hungary's own money. This is not solidarity. This is hypocrisy. Inside the room, the atmosphere turned electric. Some leaders accused him of siding with Moscow. Others accused him of sabotaging European security. A few tried to calm things down, knowing that humiliating Hungary would make the situation worse. But Orban stood firm. You cannot force me, he repeated. Unanimity means unanimity. Behind the scenes, diplomats rushed between offices, offering deals, guarantees, compromises, anything to break the deadlock. But Hungary kept saying no. Ukraine watched all of this nervously. Kyiv needed the funds to keep its economy alive, pay salaries, and maintain basic services. The blockade sent shockwaves across Europe and triggered celebrations among pro-Kremlin commentators online. By morning, the EU was in panic mode. Markets reacted. Analysts warned that the union's credibility was at stake. Orban shrugged off the criticism, telling reporters that the EU needed to wake up and stop writing blank checks. When journalists asked if he was doing Putin's bidding, he smirked and walked away. Inside Brussels, the remaining leaders held an emergency side meeting without him. They debated workarounds, legal loopholes, even the possibility of bypassing Hungary entirely. Macron reportedly said, "This cannot continue. Europe cannot be blackmailed." Scholz agreed. If one member blocks everything, the entire project collapses. What made this moment different was Orban's absolute confidence. He knew the EU needed unanimity, he knew they couldn't kick him out, and he knew that with one raised hand he could shift global politics overnight. As the summit broke down, exhausted officials whispered that this was the first time they truly feared the EU could splinter. Ukraine's fate had become a bargaining chip, and Orban, whether seen as a protector of sovereignty or a disruptor of European unity, proved he was willing to use that power until the very last second.